Hey everybody, welcome back to Gamehead. This week we're hanging out with Ben Heck, who's a master video game modder, and you brought along your friend Jason.
You call me Ben Heck
again.
Ben Heck.
And Dorn.
True. And your buddy Jason, and you guys have your own podcast on benheck.com, right?
That's correct.
Now, this is not a podcast necessarily like your how-tos that you put up on Engadget or, your book that explains how to do this stuff. You guys just sort of riff on the gaming industry, pop culture, all this fun stuff, right?
Mostly the gaming industry, yeah.
So what is the gaming industry doing right, doing wrong right now? What do you think of, PlayStation 3 has been getting beat up quite a bit out there. You think rightfully so?
I think it's a pretty solid system, but it's pretty overpriced at the same time, and it's just, I won't be buying one anytime soon because the games just aren't there for it, so.
Can't help but think of the 3DO or the Neo Geo when you look at that price tag.
Yeah, it's true, but it's after PlayStation 2 was so successful, a lot of people said, well, PlayStation guys are just going to keep buying PlayStations, but it seems to be a lot of people are buying 360s right now.
Well, the thing is to think about that, there's an 800-pound gorilla called Final Fantasy 13 or whatever the number they're on that hasn't come out yet.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Right. I mean, back in the year 2001 at this time, the PS2 wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire either. Yeah. So I just think it's a little premature to start digging a grave. Yeah. So we'll see.
When a magical terrorist attack strikes Brazil in 2021, yes, I'm serious, it's up to you to bear arms as a human, elf, troll, or dwarf in Shadowrun for the Xbox 360. The hook in this first-person shooter is a series of cool magical power-ups. You can instantly teleport through walls, cast a Tree of Life to regenerate your health, and use Gust to basically force-push enemies off ledges. Great ideas, but there's one slight problem. They sort of magically forgot to include a single-player game. All you get are a series of bot matches and 16-player multiplayer on 9 maps. They try to cram a little story into the training missions, but after a couple hours, the only thing you'll be marveling at is the smoke and mirrors they used to convince you this was worth $60. The multiplayer is solid and innovative, it's just that the game is way overpriced. Be scared of this, Shadow. It gets a Gamehead score of 6 out of 10. If someone has an idea, they just email you, and if you think it's cool, you agree on a price, and then you go and do it?
Yeah, I have to think it's cool, and they have to have the money. Those are the two
requirements. What does it cost to have you do something? What's the most one of your pieces is sold for?
The most?
Yeah.
Well, the Xbox laptops are, I'll say, thousands of dollars.
Right.
Little things like the little portables are usually around $400.
Okay.
But usually, I usually like $60 an hour, and I'll, do whatever.
Wow, that's a pretty good rate.
It's not too bad.
Lights, camera, action. Here's a very special Head Start movie edition. After almost a year of delays, the film adaptation of Tecmo's Dead or Alive series was finally released today. Jamie Presley and a bunch of other half-naked hot chicks kicking ass and playing volleyball? Well, it sounds great, in theory. Let the games begin. Fueled by $400 million in financing, Brash Entertainment has announced that they will make multiple games based on the Saw film franchise. And finally, we have a video game movie alert. Variety reports that Spy Hunter will in fact be released by Universal Pictures, but will be directed and co-written by video game movie veteran Paul W.S. Anderson instead of John Woo. Whether or not The Rock will still star in the film remains a mystery that even The Interceptor couldn't track down. Next on Gamehead, Ben goes all Ralph Baer on the Atari 2600. And finally, we world premiere the first ever trailer for Mercenaries 2 World in Flames. And now it's time for your UView question of the week. It's been almost 7 months now since the last of the 7th generation video game consoles have been released. As of right now, what's your favorite console? The PS3, 360, Wii, or are you still holding on to the PS2? Be sure to place your vote at gamehead.spiketv.com.